I'm Mike V.
I'm Catherine Herrick.
And we're 2/9 of the Everymen from New Jersey. Amoeba, what's in my bag? Thanks so much for having us.
But you didn't have to go. They're never gonna see you. Guess we'll never know. Oh, guess we'll never know. But you didn't have to go. They're never gonna see you. Guess we'll never know.
We have Hate Your Friends by the Lemonheads, import. I was never a huge Lemonheads fan, but this record has a song called which like absolutely changed my life. My cousin put it on a mixtape for me when I was like 11 or something, and it made me want to write tunes. That song specifically.
If I could show you the picture in my heart, if I could stop the words before they start.
I started a band shortly thereafter because I wanted to play that song, and we auditioned for the talent show, and we didn't make it. And I've used that rage to fuel my creative fire ever since.
This is Love by The Cult. I love this album and I love this band, but this would be my favorite of theirs. I mean, it also has like their hugest hits on it, but besides that, they only sound like themselves on this album because they're in between like when they were sort of new wave and then when they started to get into like being an arena rock competitor. I just think it's a very singular album and I love it, and it's catchy. I love to belt like Ian Astbury. He used to come into the record store where I worked, and I would always like freak out and duck and like find something else to do because I'd get really nervous. So anyway.
Kill Not You, No Kill, No Beep Beep. This record, you know, was very, very important to me when I was like 16 and trying to, you know, fit into my weirdness and be like 6.5 feet tall and 100 pounds and not trying to scare people because I looked like a freak. And I saw this guy, and I was like, if he could play the guitar and be cool and get chicks, then we all can play the guitar and be cool and get chicks. And I'm still not cool and I still don't get chicks, but I play the guitar.
This is an album by, I think you say Liminianas? Yeah, it's catchy and kind of simple, but driving, like fuzzy guitars, like minimal drums. Another one of those situations where I heard it and had to find out what it was right away, and I listened to it all the time. So now I'm going to expand my collection.
She was a sugar crush, my sugar cane. Gonna see
When I realized that they were an actual current act that I could see, I got really excited because it didn't sound retro. It sounded like something that existed a long time ago.
And every time you put it on, somebody asks what that is. And without fail, like, it's just got that kind of sound where it's just totally intriguing and inviting and awesome. Black Breath, Sentenced to Life. The greatest heavy band on earth right now, making the most violent and awesome music. Seattle band, totally insane. Like, in the way that Anthrax, all them years ago, kind of married the worlds of like two-step hardcore and metal. These guys are doing it in a way that's like totally new. You know, there's elements of like hardcore, and there's elements of speed metal and thrash, and there's elements of plain old school heavy metal. You know, they're one of the few bands in the metal scene who I feel like are totally, totally unique and not really making music like anybody else. But at the same time, like I said, the most violent band on earth. Like, and I mean that in a totally awesome, totally good way. You know, one of the best things about kind of metal scenes is that they're like the nicest dudes ever. You know, it's like, it's usually the indie rock guys who are pricks. The metal guys are just sweethearts because they get it all out on stage or whatever. So like, once the show starts, there's a lot of blood and there's punching, but once it's over, it's like, everybody's cool, man. And I have a pair of Black Breath sweatpants that I wear sometimes to the gym. That's it.
Duran Duran. It's got Girls on Film, Planet Earth. I went through like a huge obsessive Duran Duran period when I was in high school. I was particularly a John Taylor fan, as many of us ladies were, and I kind of maybe followed him down the street once in Soho, It was unintentional. I just I saw him and gravity just pulled me in that direction. And then I realized what I was doing and I just ran the other way.
I did the same thing with Alice Cooper, but it wasn't unintentional. It was very intentional.
But then I skipped home and I was really happy because I got to see John Taylor looking lovely as ever. Also, really underrated bass player. Seriously, pull out those parts, early days. Good stuff.
We having van issues, so we need to stop using all the MP3 stuff and everything. So I had to get some CDs for van listening. He's a rebel. Girl groups of the 60s. It was like the very first thing I saw when we got in here. And if you're listening to our tunes, there's a lot of girl group influence. Cause like my mom was like James Brown, Carly Simon, and girl groups. And so like I grew up listening to all this, like the Crystals, the Ronettes, the Shirelles, who are from Jersey as well. So this is super cool.
He's my rebel, no, no, no. He's my rebel, no, 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 to me.
Here is Miami by The Gun Club. Fire of Love I own, and that's one of my favorite albums, so I figured it was time for me to get this one.
Run to the jungle, and I won't look back.
And then, how could we go without William Billy Ocean? This has a song called When the Going Gets Tough from the soundtrack from the film Jewel of the Nile, starring Kathleen Turner, Michael Douglas, and Danny DeVito.
When the going gets tough, when the going gets rough.
And we've been covering this song lately, oddly enough, because who the hell covers Billy Ocean?
Aside from us and Guar.
Oh, for the AV Club, right?
Get out of my bed. Get into my car. Get on my drinks. Get in the backseat, baby. Get into my car.
R.I.P. Dave. We miss him. But Billy's still here. Billy's still on the charts in life. Anyway, it's just fun stuff.
This is Get Guilty by AC, aka Carl Newman, from The New Pornographers. This is the second album.
Change your mind. Change your mind.
Both of us think that his first album, The Slow Wonder, is one of the best albums of all time.
I think it's the greatest record that Matador Records ever released. Top, and that's saying a lot.
Yeah.
But you guys don't have that one in stock.
The first time I ever heard that album, I stopped what I was doing. It was like playing in the background and I like ran to find out what it was. Ever since, I've just been a huge fan of his. I think he's a criminally underrated songwriter.
The Loaf. This is my favorite band of all time. This band changed my life. This band is like the one, if there's one band that I could only listen to forever, Desert Island, Archers of Loaf. They make the Beatles look like the Osmonds. I never got a chance to see them because they broke up. They never really got to a point where they were playing bigger theaters. You know, they did a tour with Weezer, but I never saw them in their heyday because I was always too young. We used to sneak into a club called Brownies. They played at Brownies one time. It was like the one time that we got denied. It broke my heart. I mean, I have so much to say about this band, but you know, we got to get out of here. We have a show to play tomorrow. But this is the only record I don't have on vinyl of theirs. This is like kind of demos, early recordings. Greatest band ever. Go Loaf. And I think that's it. I got some more stuff in here, but you know, Jethro Tull, thick as a brick. Because if you're not down with Tull, you're not down with us. That's it. That's cool.
Thank you so much for talking with us today.
Thank you for having us. That was fun.